Hey everybody, welcome to Scribbles with Jonathan. Finally got around to doing the productivity video that I talked about with you guys for quite a while, quite a while now. Before we get into the nits, the nuts and bolts and the little itty gritty and stuff, this one's the longer version. You can click somewhere on the screen here. I'll make a little annotation for an additional video you can watch if you're short on time, or if you would just like a sort of like a pocket version of what I use. You can go ahead and click that. This one, again, will be a little bit longer because I'm actually going to take you through my end of week workflow that I like to do to keep balanced, organized, and productive. And that's the whole sort of thing here. I'm not going to go too much into the specifics of each piece of software. I will just sort of show you what I normally do with a little bit of like oversight as how all of it works. And my goal with this is to share with you guys is even if there's a piece of software that I like to use that you enjoy, you go like, you know what, that might actually be really cool to try out. That's really my goal. I'm just trying to help you guys out by sharing some of the stuff that I've been fortunate enough and very happy to stumble upon into this stuff to keep productive. I know all of us are in different ebbs and flows of our productivity and just what you do with art in general. Some of us, you still working in, or you still go to high school, maybe you got a part-time job or something, and you don't really have much time to draw. You're just trying to figure out how to make time to just fit in learning, right? Then you got the other end of the spectrum with you got full freelance artists where your income is geared on producing art, and you are totally in control of your time, and it's very valuable, that side, right? So we're going from both sides. I definitely think there's something in here for everybody, especially if you're an artist, because of just gathering reference and stuff like that. So again, without further ado, let's get into this. So how I really learned about all of this here, I'm just going to click up here. I got a couple tabs open here. And like I say, we're going to go through this whole workflow. So buckle in. Hopefully it's somewhat entertaining. I know there's not any art in this at all, but it's, again, hopefully just little tools to help you out. So I was looking for productivity things a long time ago, trying to always, the idea of bettering yourself and trying to find ways that other people have managed time in professional careers to just make time, besides actually just some of us, not all of us anyway, can just do stuff and you're very productive with it. I find that myself, I can get distracted very easily. And there's got to be another way, or somebody has to have stumbled upon a way to just make all this stuff kind of work. And I came across this book here, Getting Things Done, by David Allen. So this is where I would start with. This is the first thing I would start with over anything else, is go to the library, buy this book, get your hands on it any way you can. It is dry. It is written almost like a business book. But at least just take a look at it. Definitely go online if you don't want to buy anything. There's tons of videos on YouTube talking about this workflow. And I'm going to show you next the workflow and how I use it as well. But it just changed a lot of things for me, and the biggest thing was this right here. And I'll open up this right now. This is like the flow chart, like the basic workflow of the Getting Things Done book. Okay, and what we're going to get into, and you can see I got some software up top here. We're going to go over how I use those in this workflow. And again, you got to try to make this stuff your own, but experiment with how it is right now, and then start to branch out, take what you like, leave what you don't, that sort of stuff. So this was the huge thing for me right here. This stuff in basket. Now I know this looks very gross, this sort of like just boxes and texts, but hear me out. So the premise is, when we gather stuff from all over all day, we're all over the internet, we're talking to buddies, we're talking to friends, you're in the shower, you get an idea, all these things that pop in our heads. The idea is to have a place where you can dump all these little like notes, little notes you make to yourself, appointments, reference artists you just found out, videos you want to watch. Maybe, you know what, I want to think about how can I make my girlfriend or my husband or my boyfriend feel more appreciated. Like that idea of a note. You don't have to think about what it is that you need to do, but that sort of the start, that you know that there's more to this. Those little notes, right? And you have an area to put this. Now, for me, I have two places that we're going to go into next where I collect that inbox material. Besides like your inbox and your email, I'll show you this one piece of software that's really cool for that. But I also have a legit little like basket, like a little tray. You know, like those stacked 3-tier trays. I have one of those where I stack my receipts, little notes I've taken with paper, business cards I get at conventions, flyers I might see when I'm out and about. Maybe there's an event coming up. Things that aren't necessarily related to art, but things that are just part of your life, right? And I put that in the paper section of my inbox. And what I like to do is at least every other day is process that stuff. And I'm going to go really quickly here. You've probably been looking at the screen. I'm going to show you the process of moving those pieces of paper into places. Just in saying that, I feel like some people might go, that's a little bit too much work. Let me put it in a different phrase here. Think of your brain like a computer. Maybe you guys have heard this before. Like Google Chrome, you open up and you're surfing the net, and you keep opening tabs at the top. There's a video I want to watch, and then somebody messaged me on Facebook, and they sent me over here, and you wanted to click open another Google tab to search up concept art for Mega Man, and you're all over the place. Now you got like 10 to a bunch of tabs up there. What it ends up doing is it slows your computer down, right? Now, if you were to maybe your computer shut off, it overheated or something, and you've lost those tabs and you can only mentally remember what you can. Think of your brain like that. Without having a way to deal with these little tabs, these little loose ends, these notes, these little ideas, you're never going to remember them. Some of us can hold on to a lot of them, but the little details, and this is what like really the heart of this whole thing is. I can't count the time. For me, shower time is like idea time. I have no idea why, but for me, I've noticed that when I have a shower, at least one idea will pop in. And it might not be Jessup King or comic book related stuff. It could just be, maybe there's like a workout video I saw back in I wonder what that was. And when I get out of the shower, maybe a new idea is going to pop up, right? And that previous idea gets lost, or it could get lost. And that's where this sort of comes in. If I can have a way to just throw those notes in there, I don't have to worry about ever forgetting it because I've captured it somewhere, and I know I will deal with it later. And again, for comic book stuff, this is amazing. I've noticed for myself, writing is hard. As anybody will tell you, it's hard just like drawing. And I've been, just trying to not even really think about anything, and then, it would be a cool idea? What if this happened then? Write that down. I can process it later and then see if it's a good idea or not. It's a way to hibernate ideas. So once I come down, again, once every 2 days, at least Sunday is when I go through and I double check everything. And that's what today is, a Sunday. I figured I would just record this with you guys so you can see how I do this. So individually, I take each note, each tab, each paper, anything I have, and then we go to the next step. What is it? Is what I have actionable? Okay? If it's not, it's either garbage. Someday maybe I'll go into it, or reference. So let's just use two examples. One would be an idea for my Jessup King webcomic. The other one would be scheduling a doctor's appointment. Okay? So the Jessup King idea, we go in there. What is it? It's an idea. Can I act on that idea? I don't know. I'm not sure yet. And if I'm not sure yet, then we sort of go, okay, either I throw this idea away because it's not good. Maybe I put it in a someday maybe folder or something that I can look at later, which I will show you what software I use for that. Most likely that idea, if it's like a future idea for this case, I'd put it in my reference folder or my someday maybe folder. It depends. The someday stuff is something that I would look at someday. Reference is sort of like, it's a cool costume idea. That'd be awesome. Let's put it in there. Okay, so that's where that would go. A doctor's appointment. Let's say we got that to the next one. Is it actionable? Yeah, sure is. So what's the next action now that I have to act on it? Is it a project? A project is a set of tasks, a group of tasks, like a comic book project, right? Or is it something that needs to be planned for a project? Is this something where I need to think bigger? Is it something that requires multiple things that I'm not sure yet, but I need to act on later? We're not sure yet, right? So is it actionable? Yes. So what's the action? Do I schedule it? Yes, then do it. I would do that. I would schedule that action. And it takes less than 2 minutes, so I would knock that out. If it's not, maybe you're one of these fancy people and you have like a secretary. And you go, no, it's going to take 5 minutes because I have to call. If you see right here, it says, will it take less than 2 minutes? That's the action on there. Maybe, no, I need to call to double check to reschedule and all these things. So can I delegate it? Can I give this task to somebody else to do for me? Or can I defer it to a next action list or a calendar? these sort of events. I'm not going to get into the whole this because this whole thing here is a video in and of itself. There's tons of bajillion of videos on there. I just want to show you guys sort of like the idea. I'm hopefully implanting the idea so that everything that comes in, once you process it, it has a workflow that it needs to be put into something. And that's how you start organizing your ideas, okay? So the first piece of software I'll show with you guys, and I talked about this a bunch of times, is Todoist. Todoist. Now all of the software I'm going to show you is free. I have upgraded myself to the premium or the whatever, some of the paid models on them, and I probably should have addressed this before. The software that I do use is Todoist, Google Calendar, Trello. And the last one is Evernote, okay? And I will show you them as we go through here. But the idea with Todoist is it's literally just a to-do list, okay? It's a way to do things. Now, if you notice, the inbox here is what we just talked about with this. It's the in basket. So there's an app on your phone you can have for this, Android, iPhone, all that good stuff. So again, I have it outside of my shower. I'm having a shower, and I'm like, oh, cool idea. I can get out, dry my hands real quickly, and just knock that out, or get a piece of paper, whatever, right? If you're on your way to work, or you're on your way to school, and you're on the bus, you get an idea. You take your phone out, or a piece of paper. It doesn't always have to be a phone. And you can just knock it in there like, okay, that's an idea, that's an idea, that's an idea. But the next part of this here, and you can see here, I sort of have these lined up in projects as well. And these are just groups of things in my life that I can go through and associate these things to. So you can see here, it's been 2 days since I've looked at this. The last 2 days have been busy. I've had life things. I've had to deal with things that I couldn't be at home to deal with this sort of stuff. But they weren't necessarily mission critical or things like a deadline for work necessarily in my to-do list here, okay? So just like with all the pieces of software here, there's going to be tons of videos you guys can do for research. Again, I'm just hoping that this sort of like lights a flame and gets you interested in it and you get something from it. So let's just go through sort of like what we would do here, right? So what I would do when I come in here is it's Sunday. I need to reset everything. Everything needs to be blank. Today I've got some other stuff I need to do, but that's fine. What I naturally do is if I'm behind like this, there's this cool feature. You can hold control and you just sort of click. And I'm going to show you why this software is really, really sexy in a second here. And I'm just clicking down here into these open areas here, and I'm going to reschedule them for today. That way, it's a better organized list of these are all the things I need to do today, and it looks brutal. Like it looks like a lot of stuff, and sometimes I'm gonna have to reschedule it. That's okay. It's not a sweat. The idea here is that there's stuff here that needs to be dealt with, and if I haven't dealt with it, then eventually we will need to, or it just gets thrown out. It's no longer relevant information, right? So I take B12 vitamins. That's fine. That's up here. I've already missed the deadline, but that's not going anywhere. I know I can do that after this here. Empty the cat litter. Okay, that's going to happen today too. This stuff here I'll show you in a second. I'm just sort of looking here. Okay, I already did that today. So you can just tick it off, which is really cool. So let me just, I guess, go over sort of like the fun parts about the softwares here so you can sort of, I guess, see how we kind of do these things. So if I get an email, any email, if I can't answer it then or it takes more than 2 minutes, again, remember this thing here, will it take less than 2 minutes? If it doesn't, then you need to move on it anyway. So if it takes more than 2 minutes, I can forward that email to Evernote. And what that'll do is in my inbox, where it's collecting all these things that I need to deal with, you can see here, right, like forward. These are things that people from Patreon have sent me, emails that I need to reply to, things like that. One of the cool things is just sort of getting over that idea that if you receive information, you have to act on it right away. And that's not the case. If you can find a way to just sort of like, you know what, I have time to deal with social media, reply to friends and things like that. That's sort of the stuff that keeps you working because you know you're going to deal with that stuff. And most people don't get butthurt or get really upset that, hey, I emailed you. Why didn't you email me right away? You know, let them stare at their email inbox. You've got stuff to do. You're going to reply to them in due time. You don't need to worry about that right now. You need to worry about producing your stuff, getting your art happening, you know, getting in the zone and doing your stuff. That's one really slick thing here, just forwarding stuff there. They've got these really cool Google Chrome add-ons. You know, I can click here if I'm not in this, if I'm on a different website, and I can just scroll. It looks like it's out of sync. Oh, I have overdue. Okay, so here we go. So we can go like today. That's not going to be right. It's got a sync. You can see a little error button there. Anyway, I haven't used that in so long. But you can come up here and you can just quickly look to see what needs to happen today. You can very quickly make a new task, right? So let's say we're talking right now, and I don't know. I can just press Q as like a very quick hotspot in here and just say like, I'm just gonna put test task. And this is sort of what it looks like. Do I want a due date for this? I don't know. Nah, we don't need a due date right now. That's fine. Put it in the inbox because I want to deal with this later, right? And there it is. It's popped up right there. And that's how quickly you can just remember an idea. Maybe you're on a website. Maybe I'm on here, right? And I'm like, you know what? I want to really check this book out. I don't know what I want to do with it yet, if I want to buy it or not. I can just right click, add it to do list. You're going to see it's going to get a list there. If I go back here, once it, there it goes, boom, it's right there. Are you starting to see how cool that is? Like how awesome just capturing ideas is on your to-do list that you can deal with? I'm telling you guys right now, that's awesome. There's also other things, okay? So I do things like empty my cat litter every other day. Okay? So what you can do is check this out here. I'm going to say repeating cat task delete me, just so I know for myself. So you can click here in the due date, and I can get like wild with some of this stuff. So I can say every other day. Boom. Right here. So what happens is you see these little arrows here. So I can axe that off, it's gone. Tomorrow it won't show up. The next day it will show up. So why does that matter? What the hell does that matter for at all? Well, a cool little trick might be for you to say study time. I want to make sure that I get 5 minutes of study time a day to learn anatomy or whatever it is that you need or you want to learn that day. All you can do is you can just type that in, study blah 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 for 5 to 10 minutes a day every other day. So when you come in, even if this was the only piece of software you checked out, you can come in and go, what's today? What do I need to do today? Oh, I need to do this. So what you can start to do is schedule out your day, sort of forecast it, sort of like take a look around and see what it is that you're planning for yourself to get things done. That's the really big, powerful part of it. You can also do things. Maybe you got bills that come in or something every fourth or every third Thursday of the month. Bang, every third Thursday of the month. You can pop it in and it'll show up. Maybe you like to do, and this is a little trick I do, is I like to break down workflows. So I can go into here. Let me just show you. You can make like these little subfolders. So you can see I have little like tasks. They'll have a little number beside them. These are things that are happening. If I go into conventions, I've got a list of comic book conventions here as well. Some of them like register's not open here for Kids Read Comics. I can check it out to sort of see like this is, I've postponed this to next year because I've decided that I won't be going this year, or at least attempting to go this year. I can check things out like, is this, like, here's a great example here, right? Hamilton Comic Con, early October 26th. Am I going? I don't know. The comments I've left for myself in here are like the actual website, also the contact person that I need to. I've already figured this out. And if you look over here, April 1st. So what's going to happen is when April 1st comes in, this is going to show up on my to-do list. I don't need to remember this and ever again. I don't need to remember any of this because when I come in, if it's the day, if it's a reminder that I needed, it'll show up here. Another really cool thing is, again, a reminder. Maybe, let me just click here to edit the task. It's a little hard to see these things. You can do all these labels and fancy things, but you can also set reminders. And what's really cool, and I'm a big fan of this, is sometimes I'll have something like maybe I need to pick up something after work on Tuesday. I need to visit my dad, we'll say, okay? I can say visit my dad at, 5 p.m., but send a text message to my phone at 4 p.m. So I know right before work's done, I'm going to get a text. You're probably going to check your phone at least at some point, right? And you'll notice you got a text, you click it, go to dad's at 5. That's pretty powerful stuff, okay? You can send emails to yourself as well through this. I believe that's a premium feature, but it is something definitely to be conscious of because I think it is very powerful. And there's also another thing you can do. You can actually, like, check this out. Okay, so take my vitamin today. Yeah, that's high priority. So I'm going to put priority 1. Makes it red. Empty the cat litter. That's high priority. Okay, I'm going to put it up here. What else? So this is pretty high priority stuff. Back up all art files. I do this. Check this out. Monthly. Once a month, I'll get this update on my computer that says, hey, you need to back up all the art that you've done since last month. This helps, ideally anyway, from getting too crazy and getting lost in, oh God, my computer just died. I don't remember the last time I backed anything up. I back my stuff up pretty much daily. If I finish something, I save it as well. But this is just a fail-safe for those miscellaneous things that you don't get, right? So that's high priority. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to knock it up. What does it do? You can see it starts moving things that are high priority, so I can focus. Some of those people that like to, they've read a book called The One Thing, I believe it is, where it's, if you're going to do one thing today, what is it? And you could work it that way. You could customize this stuff to what you're doing. And that's what I really wanted to show you here with this stuff here. But I guess the next little quick thing I could show you, this one plays into like you can see there's a whole bunch of ideas here that I don't remember. Like what are these? Who sang on Behance? I believe these are artists. So if I click it, it'll take me to the website that I already saved. Yeah, so this is like a concept artist that I found, I believe, on Instagram, and I was like, I just really like the art. It looks beautiful. It's really cool stuff. I don't want to forget this person. So this is going to go into the next piece of software, which is called Evernote. Okay, and there's a whole bunch of stuff here, and again, there's some personal things I'm trying to like not whatever, blah blah blah. This one here is the desktop app. That way I don't have to have a browser open all the time. You can totally check this out on a website as well, or through your phone. It's all syncable. It's all good. We live in such an awesome time, man. Syncing stuff. I know a lot of you guys have had smartphones for a while. I literally just got like a good smartphone a year and a half ago. Before, some of these apps would be way too laggy. I just didn't see it. But now that I've got a smartphone, call me old-fashioned, this productivity stuff is insane. Just being able to take an idea from my phone, like here, a good example. I don't have it shown up here, but just take my word for it. So I have the Evernote app on my phone, where I can have I have an Android device, and there's a little widget you can have where it's like, take a picture, and it'll put that picture into Evernote. So I was at a comic book convention. I met a lot of wonderful people, and this is like my first bout of actually trying to be my own booth, right? So I would just kind of walk around, and I would look at another artist's table. I'm like, that looks cool. I think I could do something with that. So what I do is I take a picture of it, and it'll automatically bring it into Evernote. And then when I come in here, I can process it just like we did in Todoist, so that when I know conventions are coming up, I can just search convention. I can see the picture I took, and then I can go, do I want to do that? That's really cool. So what I use Evernote for is 100% reference. What I used to do is there's a bunch of videos. Evernote's very flexible. I never liked it. I used to hate it. I'll be honest with you. It seems confusing, too much stuff going on. It's not as, if you ask me, it's not as sexy as this. To me, this is clean. There's a lot going on here. I do realize that, but it's clean. I can, bits and pieces. This here is pretty hairy. There's a lot of like little things I can click on and, whatever. So I do have, I believe it's the basic account, or maybe it's not the basic. It's the first one you can pay for. That's the one I have on here. So there might be some features that aren't in the free model, but the reason I upgraded, the free model did everything I needed it to do, except I was running out of upload. And I think that's what they cache on. So if you're taking pictures or things, now I don't even need to worry about it. I can just upload like a fiend, and I haven't hit the cap or anything like that. So what's the point of using this for reference? Well, I heard somebody explain it very well, and it works again in the getting things done method, and I'll just bring that up one more time, just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Right here, reference. Reference is huge, okay? Reference is massive to me, because this now is a way that I can house anything I stumble upon on the internet, especially anything I come across on the internet, but real life stuff too. So a podcast I was listening to, a gentleman was describing Evernote, and this is the thing that sold me. He said, even if you only use Evernote for reference, imagine the power you get. Just do this so you can start to see, and this is what changed my opinion on it. Ask your wife her clothes size. What is your driver's license? What's your favorite peanut butter cookie recipe? Who's your favorite artist? What's your brother's favorite band? These are questions. I don't know about you guys, but I cannot. Yeah, you might remember some of this stuff, but the idea is, so you plug this in here under your reference, right? You're just like a girlfriend or wife's ring size, things like favorite color, favorite, and it might start to seem pretty stupid, but I'll tell you this, what was awesome was Christmas came along. And I don't know about you guys, but my girlfriend, if I ask her, hey, what do you want for Christmas? The answer is usually the same. Oh, nothing, I'm good. That sort of stuff. I give the same answer. Well, that puts us in a real sticky spot, right? Because if you've had a few Christmases together or a few birthdays together, the gift ideas are going to start dwindling down unless you rock it out. Or the best part is you hear something like she says, oh, wow, look at this candle. This is awesome. Well, now maybe you can sneak in a quick picture shot with a camera, right? You can make little notes. Oh, excuse me, I gotta use the washroom. You can make a little note. So when it's Christmas time, I can come up here and go gift ideas, or I can make a little pocket notebook here and say Christmas ideas, and I can just select girlfriend and go, Oh, right, there's that. I can go check that. Do you see, like, even that, I would hope is powerful. And I know a lot of us, it's not even art related, right? That's just life stuff. I've done things where it's like, what kind of vacuum bags do I have? What kind of light bulb needs to go above my sink? Things I wouldn't remember unless I was like, you know what, I need to fix my light bulb, grab the light bulb, check and go that day. But what if you're out and about and you go to Canadian Tire or some other Home Depot place and you're like, why am I here? I don't know. Maybe I'm with somebody. And you can just quickly check, like, is there anything I might need while I'm out and about? And you're like, oh yeah, that light bulb. What is it that I need? Oh, great, cool. That's awesome. Okay, and you can even see in here. Look, I just made these last night. These soft and tender peanut butter peanut butter cookies. Amazing, absolutely amazing. And I took a little screenshot here for the recipe so that I could look at it on my phone as I'm making it. But I can move this now into a recipe file, and whenever I need to check up peanut butter cookies, I know this one's good. I enjoyed it. Right. So the other thing here is I just want to show you guys. So on our Todoist, we clicked, remember, inbox, and we went to Husang, one of these ones here. Let me actually find the right one because we're going to have to. So click here. I think Behance is a different site. Okay, so whatever. This is perfect. Okay, so this is great. I want to remember this person. I know a lot of people use Pinterest for this, which is cool. For me, not everybody's on Pinterest, but with Evernote, I can keep it all together. So I like what I'm seeing here. So there's a couple options. I can right click, add to Evernote Web Clipper, which is another add-on for Google Chrome. Google Chrome has been amazing for this stuff. Or you can just click right here, clip to Evernote. This thing's going to come up. I can take a screenshot. I can write on this stuff. I can organize it into a specific project. What I'm going to do is like I always do, I put everything into an inbox until I'm ready to organize it. I don't need to worry about organizing it now. I don't want to spend time thinking about where this has got to go. I just want this captured, right? Article, simple, full page book. For artists, myself, I like to do a screenshot because I don't need to capture everything they're doing. I just want to capture what's on the screen. Right? So it's going to snap it. It's going to say screenshot captured. You can make little arrows and all that stuff. That's fine. I'm going to click save. It's going to clip. It's going to sync. It's going to do all its fun stuff. Evernote's real sweet. It can actually auto do a lot of this stuff for you if you just want to hit like, save or whatever. So we're just going to give this a second here. I'm just going to hit sync. It does auto sync quite a bit. But I just want to show you guys what I would do with this, right? So, bang, we're here. What do I want to do with it now? Let's say, since it's Sunday, I would go through this, and if you look at my inbox, I've got like 11 things. I have to process 11 things. I'll do like a couple here with you guys so you can sort of say. So, here we go. We got this right here. I'm going to just clean this up. Get this gentleman's name looking good. Husang, great. I like to add tags myself, so when I'm searching, there are additional ways that can kind of come up. So I'm going to put artist. I'm going to put their name as well, or Hong Susang. I was saying his name wrong. Susang, concept artist. Animated. I'll put animated because his art kind of looks animated, you know. And you can go crazy with this stuff. Maybe I'll put Disney. It's not really Disney, but when I'm at my day job at work, sometimes the art that I do is for mobile video games, right? And it's different than like Jessup King. So if I can go in here and just pop open, this at work and just type in Disney, I can see all the guys that I enjoy or the girls that I like that I enjoy their art and just, real stuff like that. So that's fine. Something that you might notice, even though I took a screenshot, right? I can see this and look at the art and know the guy right away. It also saves, and this is the powerful part, the URL. So if I click that, it'll actually open up and take us to the exact same spot we were at. That is what's awesome, okay? Because I can save wherever I'm at, wherever on the internet, and you're good to go, right? So I'm good to go. I suppose really quickly I'll show you. I don't want to open these up too much because there are some projects that are under NDA that I do have in here, and I'm going to show you that. I know we're getting a little long in the tooth with this video, but it's the way it goes when we're just talking about workflows and stuff. So what I do is under inbox, right? What I'll normally do is I can just type in. It's usually under reference is where I'll have it, right? So we'll go through here. It's not an art tool. It's not a tutorial, anything like that. It is, I believe I would put this under concept art. Or, actually, let me check. It's been a little while. So I got a whole bunch of stuff in here. And this is what I would search for, right? Like productivity, things that I've saved, recipes, which is where we're going to go next. Now, I know, what do we got here? Let's just, oh, there we go. It was right at the top. Artists and inspiration. So I'm just going to click that. And what it's going to do is, you see now, right up here, where it says inbox, that's where I'm at right now. What it did was it moved it to that. So if I want, I can go into my reference file and just start looking at artists and inspiration. Sometimes I'll do that, before I start the day, and I'll just scroll. I'll scroll through and go like, oh, I really want to look at that person's stuff and click it. It's just a way to house everything, right? So we can do this for the next one. So what do we got here? Peanut butter cookies. So I'm going to put peanut. Am I going to spell this wrong? Of course I am. Peanut. Peanut butter cookies vegan recipe. Awesome. So we're good to go. Again, URL if we need it. I'm going to click here, and I'm just going to type in here recipes. Bang. I also put manuals. That's really cool. Anyway, I don't want to show you that stuff too much. I guess down here I have my doctor. I just went there and they got a new phone set up and stuff. So I took a quick screenshot of that piece of paper, threw it out after I took a picture, and now I can go in there. So if I need to make a call, I can pop open Evernote on my phone or online, whatever, and I can just quickly go, there we go, sweet. I know the hours that are all in there. It's not something that I need to lose any information from. Here, we have somebody from Patreon, one of my patrons. They got the $15 reward. So what I do is, I suppose we can show that as I get to it, so I'll save that because that's going to come up. And that's pretty much how I use this. I guess it's actually pretty natural. We'll go into it. So I use Evernote for reference, to-do list to capture ideas and sort of get an idea of upcoming events or things I'd like to do in a day, right? I can always reschedule a thing. It's not a problem. A good example, let's take a look real quick here. Let's see if there's anything. There's a lot of things here that I'm not sure. So here, backup art. God. Okay, here, we'll do this. Test, delete me. It's due today, so it's going to show up here, right? So let's just say I'm looking through here and I'm like, there's no way I'm going to be able to get this done today. I can just click here and there's these little handy buttons. I can go, I want to do it tomorrow, next week, in a month. Or I can just click and pick a day. Well, one other thing I guess I didn't show you is, if you notice when I mouse over it, there's these little like colored tasks, no tasks due, and you see they change color. This lets me know what I have that's coming up. So I've got 8 tasks tomorrow. That's a lot. One here, and you can start to see where, okay, well, this day's light, I can move this task to that day. Okay, so that's really cool stuff. So the next piece that I'll show you is Trello. So I've got a lot of projects on here that you guys can see. I'm just going to quickly talk about how I use this. So I made a post a few weeks ago, maybe it was maybe more than a few weeks, maybe a month and a half ago, of what I'm looking at right now, but it was done on paper. So the idea is, and this might not apply to everybody, but this applies to, I would say, most, if you were to think about it. What I use Trello for is a way to just keep track of projects. Okay? It's great to have a to-do list. It's great to have Evernote. You could probably do this right here, this piece of software in Evernote. Again, I don't really like the way Evernote looks. It's kind of like messy. I really enjoy Trello for this. So I can look at this really quickly and go, what's coming up? What am I working on? What's my work week look like? I just uploaded a video a couple weeks ago for the Pomodoro technique, again, an updated version. And this is the piece of software I talked about in that video, where I can look at what's due this week, what's coming up, that sort of stuff. I can see, how things are planning out. So cold projects is where everything starts. Cold projects are when I receive an email from somebody saying, hey, are you available for work? Or I reach out to somebody and say, hey, I would love to do that. Are you interested in working together? And they get back to me like, yeah, let me know, in a week or a month or whatever. As soon as I get that, what I'll do, and I'll just put it in here with you guys, is I'll just click there, add a card. So we're going to say test project, okay? Now you can see there's like all these little edit tools over here. So edit labels. This is what I have for, really I keep everything as limited as I can in this because I don't want to get it too crazy. You can make new labels with colors and stuff, but I'll say it's client work, okay? This is a client. This isn't my own stuff. So I'm going to click client, and you can see it adds this little red thing. Awesome stuff, okay? Save. You can also click in here and get all kinds of stuff. Maybe I want to keep pasting emails that are in here or stuff that's happening, all that stuff. You can put due dates. Checklists are pretty powerful. I'm going to show you that in a second. But there's all kinds of things, due dates, all that cool stuff, right? But this is the part that makes this software really cool for me, is being able to click and drag, okay? So I'll show you right now. So I hear back for test project, and they say, you know what, we're going to want this due, if we can do a cover for me. Maybe we're going to want it by, March 21st. I'm like, okay, cool, thank you so much. I'll get you set up, all that good stuff, and I'll talk to you soon. Okay, thanks, right? So we click save. Now, I'm going to find some information. If you notice right here, there's a little March 21st added on our test project. So I'm going to do a checklist real quick with you. You can copy them from other ones, which is great, right? Like if there's something you do a lot of, it'll copy all that over so you don't always have to do this. But this is simple stuff. So let's say I'm doing a cover, okay? So how do we normally work this? So I would go, the very first thing I would do is make project folders on PC. Okay, I need to get, if you guys remember how I work, I have a lot of copied folders, again, from the DC Comics Guide to Digitally Drawing Comics. We're not going to get through a video without talking about that book. But in that, Freddie talks about having a certain workflow set up with that. So I usually do that. I'll make a folder with all the steps in there so I can get all my things good to go, right? Make projects folder in PC, great. Gather reference. So then let's say we're getting into the workflow here. So I would do thumbnails, send thumbs for approval, breakdowns, line art, ink, upload, email, client, final piece. Okay, so that's it. Okay, so that looks like the general workflow we would do things. Awesome, everything looking good, everything looking real nice. So click off here. Cool. Okay, so it's no longer, like, this is just the terminology I like to use. It's no longer a cold project, it's active. Now it's a hot project, it's hot stuff, right? We're gonna move it here, and you can see we've got a little taskbar, 0 out of 9 checklist items, March 21st, great. You know, it's all awesome stuff. So, I'm looking at this and it's due March 21st. Well, the next stage I have, waiting is in between these. These are ones where I've done something, but I can't do anything until I hear back from. So in waiting, I have a Patreon sketch here ready to go. I'm just waiting for this person to send me their email so that I can get the artwork out to them, right? In here, I do have a comment. I don't want to open it to give personal information there, but I have a comment in there saying when I sent that email so that, you know, if this is sitting in here for a while, I can click and go, when was the last time that I actually talked to this person? Go, oh, okay. I'll send them a little message again, see what's going on. Maybe they didn't get that one, right? So the next stage is, again, all the hot projects. These are projects that are, you know, these are working. These are good to go. For this month, so I would move this right away. This is a March. We're in March, right? So we're moving it right into March. So this has to be done this month, right? Now, this is where I kind of go into the last two stages here, which is actually... Oh, right, I had one here, but I'll show you that in a second. So... week starting March 7th, and then a week later is on the Sunday, March 13th, okay? So anything that happens between those two dates definitely gets locked into here. You can look down here. Actually, I have something that's due March 31st, but I have tasks in here that need to be done by the end of that month. So I want to make sure I'm hacking away at this project. And by having it in here every week, I know that's something I have to work on every week. So that might work out for some of you guys where it's like, I'm doing a comic book and I got 22 pages a month to do. Well, that issue is here. You could also break these tasks down into like, okay, I want to have my line art done and my ink. You know, you can break it up. Use it the way you like. I used to have a ticket over here saying completed tasks, so that when something's done, I could just drag it and move it over into here. But I stopped doing that because it was just redundant. I don't really get anything out of it. Some people like to see the mountain of tasks that they're completing in a given time. That's what's really cool about that. Okay, and then at the end, I just archive all these tickets. You guys can check out what all that means. Basically, it's not deleting it; it's archiving it. So if I ever need to go back and check it out, it's there. Okay, so test project here. It's good to go for the month. So let's click it up. Let's see what we're looking at. Okay, so this is due the 21st, right? So it's coming up, but I still got other things. So in the background here, I'm going to make a new project folder on my PC. You know, okay, it's good to go. All right, I can check that off. It's done. How cool is this? This is what I really get enjoyment out of, is seeing this fill up. This lets me know how, like, and this is just, I guess, psychological. It's a little visual, obviously, as well, but I can go in here and see, like, yeah, I've just put a dent in this massive project. Great. I want to see this get full. You know, that's what I need to do. So gather reference. Now this one's the bigger one. Usually clients will send you emails with like a project information sheet or a spec sheet or something that has to do with the project. If I'm doing cover work, you better believe somebody's sending me images of the characters, right? So what am I going to do with all that? Reference. Well, again, Evernote I use for reference, right? So what I would do is I would go, okay, well, I need to make a new notebook. because notebooks are like folders in Evernote. That's how this guy works here. Okay, so what I would do here is I'm going to click new notebook, and I'm just going to put, because I'm going to delete all this later, test project. Okay, we're going to click OK. So test project, and this, you guys will get used to this. Test project is here. I move this right into reference. Okay, I'm going to leave it. Oh, Jesus. I'm going to leave it here just for now so I can click in it. So now what I do is I go like this. This is the first thing I always do. Right, so I need something in here. So I'm going to make a new note. A new note is anything that we've been doing so far in Evernote has been a note. It's like just a little piece of paper. It's a note. It's just a little note, and those notes go into notebooks. So it's basically like a file that goes into a folder. If you're thinking about it, how like traditional file folders or file settings work. Okay, so in here, I also usually put an invoice in here. That might be a little bit too much personal information for people, but I like to know that if I need to, I can grab it, because I could be on a different computer at work on lunch. I'm just updating and somebody sends me an email. I need to resend things. I can have it all synced up into this, right? So maybe this is where they go specs and they start telling us all stuff. I can post my images in here, just copy paste image, blah 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 blah. Cool, right? So everything's good to go. That's fine. So I have this project now. You can make your tags if you want. I don't really necessarily do that, but now that I have this is what's really cool. I can click share and go copy share URL. Okay, so it's copied, or it's copying. So we're going to minimize this and bring this back into our main project here that we have in Trello. And I'm going to click edit the description. Now in here, I'm just going to go Control V to paste, right? And I'm going to save that. So what does this mean? This means whenever I'm ready to work on this today, I can just click this, and it's going to take us online. There's a way you can do this so it goes right onto your PC, but it doesn't really matter to me. I don't really get into it too much. But now I can just click here and see all the reference. And if I want, I can go into Evernote. Sometimes I'll just open Evernote and look for what it's called, and I'll have that open because sometimes there might be different multiple notes in here, right? So that's what's really cool about that. Now what's happening is I'm starting to like symbiotically have these pieces of software working together. And at this point, I'm wondering if this might seem like a lot of work for people. I would highly recommend, again, just trying one of these things and seeing how it works for you. But if you can just sort of like ease your way into this, I honestly do believe that you'll start to notice some pretty big gains in just having an idea of what's going on with a lot of your stuff, right? So I'm going to gather reference. That's done. Maybe I had to go look for New York pictures. I saved a bunch. I put them into Evernote so that I've got all of them on there. Some people like to do that all on their computer. Do what you want. Make it work for you, right? So I'm good to go. We're all working on all that stuff. So maybe actually here, let me change the due date here. Today's the 13th, so we're going to say it's due today, okay? Cool. So it's done. And you can see in the background here, Evernote's syncing. It's always checking, always making sure things are going. So today's the 13th, and you can see it's red. It's like, oh, God, it's due today, right? So I'm going to move it into the week here. So I can look, 2 out of 9 on this project. Look, these 2 I have to do today, right? They're due today. And check this out. Sketchbook. I have an order for that. I haven't even started on it. Sorry for clicking off there, and it just went weird for a second there. I realized that I had somebody's postal address information there, and I don't want to put that on the internet without anybody's approval or anything like that. So what I had in there, just to I guess to give you guys an example of what I would do, is my sketchbook red stuff, I have to draw, right? There's the process of drawing, but then I have to mail it and go it out and send it out. But in that ticket, I also put the person's mailing address, so it's all in the one thing. I don't necessarily need to put that on Evernote. I could, but since it's such a simple thing, I can put it in here without having to make a whole thing. So anyway, back to our test project. I look at here, I can see what we need to do. So I do my thumbnails, right? I'm going to send them for approval. I get my feedback. Maybe I need to adjust things. Maybe I don't. But you can see how easily all this is happening. You can see how fast it's done. And then once it's done, I believe it's just you click on her and you just go to archive. And it's going to delete it, but it doesn't just delete it. It gets it so it's it's archived, so I can always go back and check it out. And that's pretty much how Trello works. The last little thing I suppose I'll talk about here is just a basic calendar. Now, there's some stuff on here. It doesn't really show too much with you guys, but if something isn't scheduled, if something definitely needs to be done that day, I know a lot of people like to work with calendars of just scheduling out their day. I don't necessarily like to work with that unless there's something specific that needs to get done. But I always have this open because when I look at it, it's also planning out my week. I can see like what are coming up, events or things like that. There is a website. You don't need to do this part at all, but it's called If This Then That. I believe it's IFF FORMyPicartoLiveStream.com, and it does some wonderful things. One of the things that it does here is if I make, I guess this would be called, what would we call this on your calendar? Whatever. If I make something on my calendar, then make a task in Todoist. Okay, so good example here. I'm going to click here. I'm going to say test again, task. Let's go into edit event. It's 10 a.m. No, what the hell, because that's going to be wrong. 5 p.m. to 6 p.m. Awesome. I'm going to turn off my notifications here. Save. It's going to be in there. Awesome. Right? So we're good to go. I can kind of look at what's going on. I got a doctor's appointment tomorrow. I've got a Patreon hangout with Joseph. Awesome. St. Patrick's Day is coming up. Am I doing anything for that? Probably not. I don't drink. But it's still cool to have there. I got an appointment coming up with the bank at the end of the week. Just stuff. Right? So it's great. I can see all this stuff. It's all good to go. When I come back in, like the calendar is usually the first thing I look at because it's important. If it's on the calendar, it's scheduled. It's almost like you go to work and your boss or your teacher at school tells you have to do something. You have to do that thing. That's what it's almost like it's the highest power in all of this because it's what lets you know that, okay, you can't mess around. This has to be done, right? But when I come back into Todoist to start organizing things, if I come down here, maybe it hasn't synced up yet. Let's see if we can sync here. Sometimes I do notice that for some reason the Google Calendar takes a little bit to pop in here. But anyway, believe me, while we're talking, it'll most likely show up, or maybe it'll come under today. Either way, it'll show up saying that you have this thing due, which is great because then I can start to move that task around in case I need it to be brought to my attention. So I think that pretty much wraps it up. I just one last time to give you the rundown of what we're doing here is it all stems from really this book right here, Getting Things Done. You can do everything with paper and a pen, and it's called the Tickler folder. If you can get like just a really cheap, those like vanilla looking folders that you get at like a dollar store or anything, and just like a little duotang sort of things to put the folders in there, you can really build this stuff up and to be your own, and it just organizes your life. It's organized my life in a way that I can't ever go back. I almost feel lost without working this way because the added, and you guys might not think of it like this, but the added stress that's added to me by always having to remember something, or like people reply to a video on YouTube and it's like, oh, I missed it. Damn, it's been a month since I got to that. I thought I clicked it, I read it, and I was like, I can't reply to it right now. I'll reply to it when I get home. And things just get hairy, right? I find when I'm able to work like this under this workflow, I notice I feel better, more in control, and a better understanding of what I'm looking at, what's my day and my project list looking at, and it just again makes me feel better knowing how I can fit more into my day or take out less so that I can make time for like loved ones or friends or just relaxing time. It's okay for these things. And this again is the broken down version of what it is that this book really talks about. I recommend reading it. I know a lot of people don't like to read. There's audiobooks, but the Cliff Notes version is just check on YouTube. There's lots of resources about this. This book's been out for a long time. So my day starts with the calendar. Take a look what's going on. The next thing I'll do is I'll look at Trello. I'll take a look at, so really all I'm looking at, guys, is this right here. What's happening here, right? So today what I'll end up doing is I'll actually come in and I'll change this to March 14th and then this a week after that. So I can start to, okay, what of these are fitting in that? And you can sort of see like everything starts on the left and moves to the right, moves to the right. It's a process. So this lets me know what I need to do. It lets me know what I need to work on, not only in the week, but today. You can look at it that way, right? Todoist is what I look at for things that might not necessarily be art-related tasks, but life stuff as well, or reference from artists that I'm finding, just how my internet travels have gone. A new marker I want to try out, a pen. Somebody sent me somewhere that I would love to check out. Maybe somebody showed me a really sick way to do perspective in Manga Studio. I want to always keep that stuff. I don't want to just watch it as it's presented to me because then it's taking time away from what I need to do. You need to make time to check out the things that people are sending you or things you find, okay? And this lets me do that. The last thing, again, is Evernote. And this is awesome because, again, with reference, I can keep track of anything and everything. Completed projects in general, where I would put the projects I'm working on and they need reference. 100% 100% reference is what I use this for, and it's been absolutely wonderful. And I can't recommend it enough, to be honest with you guys. Okay, so that pretty much wraps it up. We're gonna go back to here, and I want to say thank you guys for sticking through this. I know it's looks like we're about 50 minutes now, which is a very long time to sit through something that's not art related at all. I hope I wasn't too rambly. I hope you guys check out at least some of these things, and please, by all means, leave stuff in the comments. I'm a huge productivity junkie. You got to get careful with it because you can keep researching and trying new workflows and stuff, just like with art. And what ends up happening is, in your pursuit of always trying to find something new, you're actually not doing anything. It's a lot of like you're always busy. My brother has the perfect term for it: the busy idiot. You're always busy, but you're not actually doing anything, right? As opposed to just trying to find something that works for you, and if it does, playing with it and sticking with it, as opposed to just jumping on, which is kind of, I guess, in a way, counterintuitive to the point of this video. I'm just hoping that even if whatever workflow or stage you're at, you can consider this and check it out. Maybe make it work for you. Hopefully it does. Again, leave a comment in the comment bar below if you're interested in trying this out, if you have tried it out and you liked it or you didn't like it, or by all means, please shoot me a message for stuff that you use that I would love to check out and I would like to share with you guys. So thank you guys so much. I'll talk to you guys very soon. Keep reading comics, keep making comics, and we'll talk soon. Bye-bye.